who put the meta in Metaverse? So this is a concept, the Metaverse, that's been purported in the media, branded about. Everybody has heard of it. If they haven't heard of it, they're going to hear about it. Most commonly, when you bring up the Metaverse in general conversation, no one has a clue what you're talking about, and they all think it's Facebook, because Facebook has recently rebranded as Meta. Is Facebook the Metaverse? Absolutely not. Very clever marketing by Mark Zuckerberg. What would we expect after such a shitty year last year? But if you haven't watched some of his, if you don't know what I'm talking about and you haven't looked at any of his videos, then I strongly suggest you go and have a look at them, because why not? He's paid money for them. It's a good way of actually getting our heads around the one part of the concept. The Metaverse is augmented and virtual reality. It's going to consist of a number of different worlds that are linked together. You will be able to walk from one game or situation or land to another using your avatar. This is my understanding of it. Everyone will have an avatar, will be able to have an avatar. And it's interesting because why would you want to get your head around this? And I'll talk about in a bit more detail, but why would you want to do this? First of all, it's going to make loads of money. So if you want to make money, this is a really, really, really good way of doing it. If you don't understand or don't want to get your head around blockchains generally and decentralized finance and layer 1 and layer 2, I mean, I think it's good to understand that stuff, but if that's not your bag, the easiest thing to be able to get your head around is going to be the Metaverse, because essentially every single thing that we have in our tangible world is going to be translated to a virtual augmented version in some form or another through the Metaverse. So what will you be able to do in the Metaverse as an avatar? I'm not saying I want to do any of this, by the way. What will you be able to do? You will be able to go to the casino. You will be able to go to the races. You will be able to go shopping. You will be able to, I'm assuming, order an Uber. Why would you want to do that? Who knows? Maybe you will. I imagine you'll be getting Ubers and teleporting all over the place, which will be quite exciting. You'll be able to go for a walk in a beautiful garden that probably, depending on your mindset and what turns you on, is better than real nature if you live in an urban landscape. And I think it's Google. I think I read that Google are creating a 3D virtual reality of like every single inch of the world. So how will it be split up? So there'll be the element of existing, and you'll be able to go, you can buy land in the Metaverse. You can build land. You can then rent that out for advertising. You can rent it out for office space. You could build offices on it if you wish to, and it all seems a little crazy. And there's certainly plenty of things about it that are at the detriment to what I would call normal, logical, practical human society, but it's inescapable, and it's being driven by money and a need to escape, and on the other side of things, the gaming side. So gaming is fascinating. Obviously, gaming is a huge industry anyway, already extremely interactive, and going from strength to strength, if that's your bag. And will become even more interactive, and even more inclusive in some cases, or even exclusive in others. But you can buy plots of land in games. You can have your own NFTs, which we'll go into another time, but you can have your own warriors. You can loan those warriors to great players. And there's a huge culture now, and this already exists, around play to earn. So play to earn is like it says it is. It basically means you can play games, and if you're really good, you can earn money and win. And I guess you can, I mean, in places like the Philippines, this already exists. People are already earning a living wage, a healthy living wage, from being able to play video games. The mind boggles, I'm not gonna lie, it frightens me, and I'm a little bit jealous. Like, I would love to be able to just play a game and earn money. That sounds fabulous. Who knows, maybe one day, but certainly not in the near future. If anyone's seen me play FIFA, I'm pretty shit. Last time I was good at anything was Crash Bandicoot, so that probably tells you quite a lot. But that kind of gives you a bit of an indication. You'll be able to go and visit offices. So the big four, KPMG, Deloitte, those big accountancy practices are building offices in there so that you'll be able to go and do that. And certainly from a creative perspective, it will allow people to interact with people in a slightly different environment. I mean, everyone's kind of bored of Zoom, so perhaps it will be more entertaining to put on the Oculus and have little handles and, you know, jump around and be silly and express yourselves in a way in a virtual world that is slightly removed. I see all the dangers and limitations from this, but I also know that it's totally inescapable. What else would I want to add to that? I think there's some interesting resources actually. If anyone's really interested in this, then Raoul Paul does some quite interesting. He's big on it, and he is, I would say, an expert in this area. Certainly knows a lot more than me. Kind of very entrenched in the industry, and there are some huge positives in terms of closing some of the gaps. So one that he points to is the ability to be in a virtual classroom at a top university without having to be actually present in the country. You know, somebody from across the world could have that, and perhaps there will be lower financial barriers to entry to some of the things that are currently more expensive for people. It remains to be seen, but let's see. I hope that kind of clears up a few things. I would urge people that however resistant they are to understanding it, adopting it, wanting to be part of it, I think if you have 5 years left of your life, you would be foolish to not embrace some part of this, because unless you're going to lock yourself away in a box, excluding yourself from it because you're resistant, like I was in terms of using the internet and the TV and all of these other things that I'm terrible at using, excluding yourself in that way will actually shut down your ability to interact with your children, your ability to interact with lots of different employers, and it'll minimize some of the opportunity that you have available to yourself in the future. And whilst that may seem a little daunting, perhaps remember that, you know, we haven't seen mass adoption yet, but we're going to see it at an incredibly fast rate. So the sooner you can understand it and the sooner you can do research of all of these kind of concepts, the sooner you can be part of what is quite an exciting, progressive, and very community focused industry that also happens to have a huge amount of money to be made in it and is full of venture capitalists. It sounds like life, and it is. Thank you.